Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of, there we go, Rob moves up, to Stu and the Nun. Here we are, episode 364 on, I guess, the last Thursday, last show of May, and we have, ironically, someone back. I don't know if it's ironically, I guess, but we have Jason back from GrillYourAssOff.com. Jason Murff is the founder and creator of that, Army vet himself, a true blue infantryman. Like myself, and we last had Jason on 5 years ago, I think around May 20th. So we are just a few days over the 5-year mark. May 21st, we last had you on, Jason. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. It's crazy to think it's been 5 years. It doesn't feel like it whatsoever.
Yeah, you don't look 5 years older at all. I mean, you don't look a day. What you were 5 years ago. How's that?
No, I appreciate that.
That was a crazy, stressful time in May of 2020. I think we were past. Let it flatten the curve for 2 weeks. I think we were past. Give us a little bit longer. I think right now we were in the don't dare go outside or go the wrong way in a Walmart line because you can kill grandma. I think that's the phase we were in the end of May of 2020. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, no, that was right shortly, a little bit before that was the time that I was telling everyone who worked for the company, don't know how long we can keep this going for.
Yeah, I would imagine it was pretty scary for you and many others. Obviously, many things came out. The government was able to provide, loans and things like that for small businesses to keep going. And I'm sure that was helpful if you took, I know it was for a lot of other businesses. But the good thing was if you were going to isolate or keep social distancing, at least, you could grill at home and you didn't have to go out and you could make some great stuff. Thanks to GrillYourAssOff.com. How's that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was pretty wild. The first 2-3 weeks of, especially like during lockdowns, it was one of those things. I was almost stuck in Vegas during the beginning of it at a buddy of mine's bachelor party. We went out there for that. And then like everything got real serious. Like the last day that we were there, to the point where it's like, they're canceling flights left and right. And we're just like, well, we might as well just make Vegas a bender at this point, and just stay out here and party hard, and we got on a flight back, made it back, lockdowns were very, very strict, serious at that time. And, about 2-3 weeks into it, it was, like I said, making the phone calls and talking to the team like, hey, I'm going to keep this going as long as I possibly can. But right now, no one knows the future of anything. And we only have so much cash that we can, expense until it's all gone. And then right around the 3 to 4 week mark during the lockdowns, I guess that's whenever everyone figured out like, hey, I'm stuck at home, just like you said. I can still cook, I can still grill. I need spices. And that was the start of it, to where it was like, oh, okay, there's a lot of people wanting to, cook at home. And then, oh, okay, hey, this was a record breaking week. Oh, okay, this was a record breaking month. Which then, proceed to turn into a record breaking quarter, year. And yeah, it was madness, because not only was all the retail stores closed, except for, the essential Walmarts, and, those businesses, um, all the suppliers that, make the plastic lids, make the PET bottles that we utilize, make the induction seal liners, all of that stuff, all their factories are closed. So there's only so much surplus of all of these products, even down to our lead time went for labels from about 7 days to 9 weeks. So once all of a sudden we had this huge growth, it was just a huge amount of headaches to go along with it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And no, I mean, you hit on a good point, is that, where a lot of people were, catching up on their Tiger King and, taking time off and getting paid to sit at home. It sounds like you were one of the folks that you never got a chance to probably catch up on that for a while. There was no 2 week slip to just relax at the house like most of the kids were that were still in school, if you'd call it that, or most of the workers. You guys just going, you had to fill orders, right? And
Yeah, I mean, that was it. I honestly didn't even know that Tiger King existed until my next door neighbor. Me and him ended up just. I had lived there at that place for almost a year at that point. And, I'm 24/7 on the go. And then finally, the COVID lockdowns and having a beer in the middle of the street because we're just tired of being cooped in the house. His wife actually came out while we were talking and started talking about Tiger King. So I was like, let me turn this on while I'm packing some orders. And that's how I saw Tiger King. So yeah, there's like, 2 weeks of downtime, but it was more not of downtime. It was more stressful time of, how the hell am I going to keep the ship going?
right, yeah, it was like you got this new business venture off the ground and made it happen, and then I was like, is some weird China virus or something else gonna, is the world ending? It's gonna end it all. But if the world's ending at all, okay. But as we know, that didn't happen, and people still need to eat, and like you said, yeah, I would imagine, I don't know what you heard or not, but I would imagine as people were locked in and restaurants were shut down and people couldn't go out, I could guess that people that probably weren't foodies or didn't venture into new things or whatever probably started experimenting, and it may I could have guessed that it would start making people more adventurous in cooking at home, trying new recipes, doing things like that. Maybe where they went out to some steak chain to always eat a steak, or a barbecue place. Maybe they started toying around with stuff at home because, oh, we got the stuff in the cupboard, might as well, we're not going to go out there. It'd make them grow more. Hopefully you saw more business because of it.
No, we did. We saw a huge increase. Ironically, it was like right before the lockdown, we started doing a huge B2B push, and then all of a sudden that just abruptly stopped, and our B2C shot back through the roof. And we saw it across the board. Not only was the orders up, but also all of our social media, our recipes, everything like that. So everyone who was wanting to learn how to cook just expressed it even more. So then that just gave us more opportunity to be able to give the customer, hey, not only are we providing a product, but we also have hundreds of recipes on our website, how-to guides, all of this kind of stuff. So it's like, heck yeah, like buy the product and we're going to teach you how to cook. Like where else do you get that?
Right, right. That's funny you mentioned. I was talking about one of my new employees the other day, a couple weeks ago, and she was telling me how she's trying these different type. Like she mastered. It took her about a year or so to learn how to really cook good Indian food and master it. Now she's working on Korean and stuff. And she told me that she started that during COVID. It's where she's picking cuisines and just reading about them, studying about them, and just trying to master cooking everything. Being as good as she could, cooking these cuisines and flavors that normally she never would have tried or never even attempted to try. So yeah, that makes sense. I know
Yeah, I mean,
Toby has talked a lot. I know he's a frequent guest. He can't be with us here tonight like he was last time, but he's always telling me about different seasonings and different things like that he's ordered and has tried out. So I'm sure he's pushing it down in Mexico where he is right now in Cabo. But if you see any orders going down there, it's probably all him. I don't know if you guys ship to Mexico or not, but
Oh yeah, we ship worldwide. So especially if I catch the name, we'll make sure to put a nice little note on the outside of the package.
There we go. Yeah. Well, hey, that's been awesome. So what is you are like I said, you're veteran infantryman. For our people that maybe haven't viewers and listeners who haven't met you before, seen you were listening 5 years ago, can you give us kind of a quick overview summary of just kind of your military background and what brought to grow your ass off, or what gave you the inspiration to start it?
No, for sure. I served just over 3.5 years as an 11 Bravo, was medically discharged, had a botched surgery over at Walter Reed by a wonderful Navy doctor. And then has since then, last year actually had my final surgery to fix that. And was the first time since 2014 that I've actually been able to stand up and not been in extreme pain. So that's been an awesome transition since we've last talked. But yeah, got out 2015, served at the Old Guard at Arlington National Cemetery, and did a lot of fun stuff there, a lot of not so fun stuff there. Tried to, go out, use the GI Bill like a lot of other veterans do. Went to actual commercial aviation school with the GI Bill, and then realized pretty quick that flying a school bus in the sky is pretty boring whenever you go from being in the infantry. So wasn't the biggest fan of doing that or college itself. And, I started making a lot of the seasonings just at the house because I was stationed in DC and coming from Texas up north. Sorry for everyone who's up north. There's a severe lack of flavor up there. So I was already making seasonings and toying around with the idea, just never thought it would ever be of anything. And then as soon as I got the urge to drop out of college, I had another business going on at that time, had enough money saved up to where I could float for about 8 months. And I was just like, no, screw it. Dropped out of college, moved back to Houston, went in both feet forward, and didn't give myself any reason to be able to quit doing it. So here we are 8.5 years later, 5 years since we were last on this podcast, and we've grown drastically.
Yeah. What can you give us, like viewers, listeners, kind of a percentage? Obviously, you don't disclose all the numbers, but just what does your percentage look like? And we didn't prep you to say, hey, get all your stats from 5 years ago, but roughly that hit has grown in as far as quantity of product shipped, or how your revenues have things, or just how your company's expanded, right? Did you start off with 5 things, now you have 45, that kind of stuff?
So we actually started off with 4 products. There's 4 seasonings that we launched with, and that was the kind of goal behind that, was like, how do we cover just your basics for any kind of meat that you would be cooking? And that was our Madu steak seasoning, our Infidel pork rub, our Willie Pete chicken seasoning, and our Claymore Cajun seasoning. And one of my favorite things about like the actual names and why we called it what it was is I actually called the guys that I served with. A lot of them were still in, and collaborated with them back and forth. And that's how the original 4 came to be. And the original bottles that were ever made was actually sent to them. And it's like, hey, like, I want you guys to be the ones who are the first ones to try it, give me feedback, all that kind of stuff. So we started off with 4. Now we have over 100 SKUs that we currently stock inside the warehouse. Business-wise, we've grown over 400% in year-over-year revenue. And it's been a steady incline since then. Last year, a lot of people were kind of weird about the economy, didn't know what to expect or anything like that. We actually had a very, very solid year last year. And then honestly, if anything, you would think that politics, elections, all that kind of stuff would decrease a company, especially with previous people in office. But last year we actually crushed it. And then the beginning of Q1 this year was slow for everyone that I've talked to in business. No one really knew what the markets were going to do. There was huge change and shifts going on, and we were able to beat last year's Q1 this year, and we're off to a solid start to Q2. So very, very happy with everything right now.
Yeah, Q1 was definitely tough as everyone watched how the election panned out and how the market we're gonna respond to that. I work in the cybersecurity industry, and we've seen the same thing across the board from customers in commercial and government space and everything. So you went to over 100 SKUs, and you've got some interesting ones. I mean, you've ventured into some new things. You've gotten outside of just seasonings for meats, right? I hear now you have a Bloody Mary mix. That near and dear to my heart. I'm a big fan of Bloody Mary. Donkey Punch Bloody Mary mix. We won't get into where that term comes from or whatever, but I'm curious at how you came up with it and what got you into doing something like this.
So we actually had we have a VIP customer group that we call Elite Pit Masters. And we hold them near and dear to our heart and treat them very, very well, because those are our top tier customers, and those are the ones who support the brand. And we actually share a lot of the back end working on what we're doing on developing products, all that kind of stuff, to help them actually have a say in where the brand goes and what's the next products that we're doing. Right around 3 years ago, we had a giant Google Meet and just invited all of them in and did a whole entire warehouse tour with them. We just moved into this facility that we're in now, and just said, hey, we want to know anything and everything that you want. And so Diane actually came up. We had chatted about it beforehand, but she was like, hey, let's do a Bloody Mary mix. And I was just like, all right, yeah, we've thought about it. We don't really know what we're going to go with, because if you don't know, shipping things that are in liquid and glass jars are not fun to ship. So we've perfected the 16-ounce mason jar to be able to get it to a customer and not be destroyed. Currently, we're at like a 99.8% success rate on that. But if I ship you a 16-ounce mason jar, that's really not a whole lot for you to drink for a Bloody Mary. That's a drink, if that. So you're not going to want to pay the shipping, all that kind of stuff. So we kind of scrapped that, went back to the drawing board, and then we kind of dabbled with a couple ideas of doing just a dry Bloody Mary mix. And we were actually in Mississippi for a trade show, and a good friend of mine, Elle from Soldier Socks, who's another great company. And every time somebody buys a pair of their socks, they donate a pair of their socks to soldiers. And she was like, hey, why don't you call one of your products Donkey Punch? And as soon as she said that, I literally grabbed James, who's sitting right next to me at this restaurant. And I was just like, that's what we're calling it. And he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I like it. So we went immediately. I went to my artist. I said, hey, I need a donkey that has a black eye, a chunk of his ear bitten out. We have the Mike Tyson fight coming up. Like, let's get this thing prepped, ready to go. So we scrap everything else we're working on. We're full steam ahead on this. We get it done. We get all the product shots done. Everything's ready to launch. And then they scrap the June fight.
That's right. They pushed it. Yeah.
And it was just, it was a lot of hard work. And then they scrapped that, and we were like, screw it. Let's just go ahead and launch it. I mean, most people, they see the black eye. They don't see the ear bite out of the donkey. So we still have a blast with it. And, the goal with all of our products, my biggest thing is once you have that product, you don't need anything else. There's a lot of other products out there that are very short in that to where it's like, oh, hey, once you have this, now you need X, Y, Z. I want to make a product to where we've already thought that through, to where we make cooking as simple, easy, fun as possible. So that way we're challenging people to cook, and we're not challenging the people of like, you have to be a culinary artist for this. No, I just want you to go out there and enjoy cooking, have people around you, and create a community with that. So with the Spicy Bloody Mary mix, Donkey Punch, it's got everything you would want in a Bloody Mary, except for the crazy stuff that you see people put in there.
But that's what they get that in afterwards, right? That's all the accoutrement that gets in.
Yeah, no, 100%. So this has all of your dill inside of it. It has your horseradish. It has your dehydrated Worcestershire sauce. It has all of that in there. So all you need is a tomato juice, a alcohol, and then if you want to go crazy, we have donkey balls. Donkey balls are green olive stuffed with a habanero. We have atomic dongs, which is a dill pickle spear marinated in a habanero garlic brine. So yeah, we really started, and what started it was we started off with just a seasoning line, and then we added on 3 different barbecue sauces. We did a original, a bacon bourbon, a honey habanero. Then we added on a salted vodka glaze. Then next thing, got a wild hair up my ass, and I was like, hey, let's start selling beef jerky. We came out with 6 flavors.
Venison jerky is one of my masterpieces. People just beg me to sell it to them and stuff, and I don't. I do it from field to table, and so I have been making it for years and years when I lived in Alaska and now down here. So I saw the jerky mixes, and I'm like, I'm pretty loyal to the mixes I use, but I saw that was impressive. I may have to just give Grow Your Ass Off a chance and do a 5-pound package and see how that works out.
We won't disappoint, but I mean, we have 12 different jerky flavors now that you can pick from and choose. And then outside of that, we started the biggest thing for me is we don't really look at what other competitors are doing in our space. We want to have a clear mind space of what we want and also take feedback in on what our customers want. So that's how, our ranch dips came to be, is like, hey, let's create a single serve spice pack of ranch that you can mix with sour cream or plain Greek yogurt. If you want to go lighter on calories, you have a chip and a vegetable dip. Now we have recipes to be able to turn that into ranch dressing, which is phenomenal. Then we did a spicy ranch. And then, later on down the road, we did a whiskey smoked sea salt. One of our newer products to go with the gourmet smoked spice line is we did a whiskey smoked sugar. So if you love old fashions, you love baking cookies, anything, now you can have a sugar that has the aroma and the flavor of smoke. We also just created, since we're talking about spicy Bloody Mary mix, we have a lime beer salt, a chili lime beer salt. So a lot of people who like tahini, but they want to get away from all the preservatives that are in it and the artificial flavoring, ours actually have real lime that's been dehydrated and crystallized. So as it hits your tongue, you're actually tasting that lime rehydrate, and you get crazy flavor with it.
Now, do you guys
go ahead?
You do drying? You do all the crushing of the ingredient? I mean, do you have a manufacturer who helps you make that, and you just come up with the mixes and the flavors, or do you guys?
It's both.
Is it okay?
Yeah, so we do a lot of the R&D in-house, but we also have a lot of partners that help us and work more specialty in certain fields, because we wouldn't be able to do it all in-house now. So it's a lot of the R&D is finding or working with the right partner on the actual resources. And then once we have a lot of those resources, it's just test. Then once we nail it down, we're good to go and full steam ahead. But even, that's one of the things that no one sees is, nailing down a sample of, say, a 1 pound ranch mix is different than running 10,000 pounds of a mix. Yeah. So
do you have a master, a lot of any big whiskey distiller, they have usually a master taster. Is that a thing for industry? Is that because, obviously some people taste, try different things, and it's like, okay, they taste salt, pepper, they mostly taste spice. I mean, do you have someone, or is it you that has a palate that you can sit there and distinguish tastes? Because I drink a lot of whiskey. I'll just admit it right now, a lot of brown water. But to me, good whiskey is a good whiskey, and I'm pretty vague on either it's smooth, it's got a bite, I got this, but where other people are like, oh, it's got earthy vanilla with a slight touch of oak, and I'm like, yeah, I don't taste all, I got whiskey. That's what I got.
Starting off, I was in the same boat. I'm like, cool, it tastes like seasoning. Obviously there's certain flavors that overweigh other ones, and you can taste that. Some of the people that we worked with in the very beginning, and there's some crazy outliers that I've met since we've been in this industry. to where they will literally pick up a seasoning blend, take a pinch of it, put it on their tongue, and then just kind of swirl their tongue around. And then they will tell you, okay, it's got this, 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 and this. And I can tell you that because it's hitting my taste buds here. It's doing this, it's doing that. And it's mind blowing. And it's like, oh, they're achieving this flavor profile by using these 3 ingredients right here. And I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, just mind blown. And I'm nowhere near that good at it, but I am getting better and better. So it's like my palate has developed now to where, for instance, I won't say what it's going to be, but we just tasted, I made the entire team taste test a new product yesterday. That's not the most fun to taste test. And that was another thing yesterday. As soon as they made me taste test it after they did, and I was able to pick up, hey, this is happening because of this. And now I'm explaining to them, this is what you're experiencing, and this is how you pick up on the notes. Again, I'm not great at it. I will say I'm 100% better. Our warehouse manager, Dylan, he's a Marine Corps veteran. I've blind taste tested him on so many different products. And every time I can give him the same exact product that he just blind taste tested, and he will give me a different result every single time. So we've ruled him out of all taste testing. I don't know if it's the crayons or what.
The crayons kind of dumb down the taste buds, but it's like, look, I'm my whole family, they can sing, they're great singers and all that stuff. I did not stand in that line, and I'm tone deaf. I just don't have that gift, right? So I'd imagine, again, like we talked about, right? There's people that can taste a whiskey or taste any kind of liquor, or anything like that, and they can splice that thing up in 7 different layers. Like you talked about, people taste a little pinch of something and they can break all that down, where I just taste, it's spicy. Oh, I got a little smokiness in there. Like I go about that deep, I can taste a few things like some lime, very distinct taste, but some people can, I imagine it's got to be just a gift that people have for sure.
Yeah. It's something you can train yourself over time, but not fully compared to some of these people that I meet. Like I can read an ingredient label and tell you what it's going to taste like, but I can't pick up a pinch of something and tell you the exact ingredients and ratios that it's going to be at.
So you've gotten into jerky. You've got it. By the way, just curious. So a package of jerky. I was looking on your site. Is that for 5 pounds of meat? Because I couldn't find on there like anything.
Oh, no. It's actually fully finished cured jerky. So you're actually getting meat.
Oh, it's not the mix. Oh, okay. I thought it was like the powdered mix to make your own jerky. Okay, so it's packages of jerky. Okay, got you.
Yep. Okay. So it's straight up packages of jerky. One of the things that we did just come out with that is super cool. We launched a salsa line last year that's actually been received very, very well by our customers. We have a mild red, a mild tomatillo, and then a roasted Carolina Reaper, which is my personal favorite. And again, we prioritize flavor over just making stuff stupid hot, because anyone can do that really easy. But we just launched our most recent product is Bag and Tag, which is a wild game seasoning that we partnered with Military Mobility on, which is an amazing nonprofit based out of Wyoming. And we actually kind of communicated back and forth with them on, hey, we want to do a collaborative product just like we did, which I guess has been a while since we last talked. You can see the Sailor Jerry Spice Rum bottle up there. And we actually co-branded that right there. The Ironsides barbecue sauce with Sailor Jerry, which was an awesome process we did. 50% of every bottle goes back to the Independence Fund. And that was something that we turned around and did with our Bag and Tag Wild Game Spice. And with that Wild Game Spice, I wanted to keep in mind of all the hunters, and especially the guys who are out there, trekking in the mountains for elk and a lot of the wild game. There are a lot of the guys that are processing the meat themselves at home. They're making their own sausage. They're making their own jerky. And so with the formulation of Bag and Tag, it was super fun because we were able to formulate it to where you get a great earthy herb style taste. You get smoky, you get sweet, you get spicy from the curry powder inside of it. But it's also low enough in salt to where if you need anything to add curing salt to it, you have the room to do that, and it's not overly salty. So it's one we're currently working with right now, a local meat market company out of Houston, to actually develop a sausage with them on that. It won't be available on our website, but it'll be available at their meat market whenever we get to that point. So super fun, cool product. And again, 50% of every bottle sold goes back to military mobility to help them out on what they're doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. If I could give you a recommendation,
Yep.
if you could find a way to, because you've done the seasonings and you got the sauces and things for people. You talked about hunting. I'm a big proponent of that, doing a lot of it. But if you guys looked at, if you haven't, making your own jerky mixes and stuff like that for people to do their own, because obviously they don't have to hunt, right? People go buy ground beef, they can go buy whatever and make their own jerky out of that. I don't understand that. I'd rather kill it, but that would one, because obviously so many in the military community hunt, that could turn out to be pretty impactful too. Maybe something to look at when you look at new products.
No, for sure. That's something we've talked about before. Currently, right now, we'll let it out here hopefully in about 2 months, as long as there's no delays to it. We're actually revamping and completely changing our whole entire jerky line. Some of the flavors will stay the same, but we're changing the way that we actually cut the meat, we tenderize the meat, we marinate the meat. So I'm super pumped on that, because here in just a few months, we're going to have an awesome relaunch of all of it. And then it's just going to be an even bigger, better product for our customers on that. I will say one thing that you'll get humor out of. I don't know if you're able to pull up the salsas, that photo that you had. Yeah, right there. So it's kind of hard to see from this view. And for subtle things, we try and hide it to where it's hard enough to see, but once you look at it, you can see it. So with Recon Red, right behind his binodes, it actually says Pogue on his plate carrier, as a poke to everybody. Rangers Reaper, we wanted to do the quad nods, make it, a cool guy kind of thing. But we actually put on his plate carrier, it says Death Dealers, which is what the platoon I was in was the nickname for. And then if you look in the very middle, we were like stumped, like for freaking weeks.
I know where you're going. I see it already, but go ahead.
On what to call the tomatillas also. We were like, man, do we call it like commando? We're like, no, that's gay. We were just like, we couldn't do anything. And we were actually driving to Albuquerque, and we were crossing through Roswell, and we saw a little alien billboard, and we were just like, bro, let's call it Invader. And then we were like, all right, well, what are we going to do? And then we're like, let's do a little donkey flying a UFO and abducting a cow by its ass first. That was the thing. And then as we got further into it, it's like, all right, let's make a little poke at Space Force, since that was a newer trend. So if you actually look on his vest, it's got the Space Force logo on there.
I saw the cow's ass, and I thought it had something, Invader, like probing and all that kind of stuff. That's
no, that's definitely all there. Like 100%. Yeah. We were like, we can't have a cow get abducted without its ass going first. Like, right. all day long. So,
have a great palate making and innovative and all that stuff. You also have an awesome sense of humor and a great artist. So I don't know who's doing all your artwork, but I hope that trade all that kind of stuff, because the donkey's where it's at. That is for sure. Has that always been your mascot per se from the start?
Yeah, from the start. The very, very first idea with it, the first drawing, I ended up pulling the trigger on Grill Your Ass Off. My dad was the one who came up with the idea of the name. I truly didn't think that it was going to be something that a lot of stores would carry, so I kind of slept on it. And then had some guys that I served with come in town. We all got, hammered in my apartment at the time, and I jumped on Fiverr and paid a kid $15 in Venezuela, and I just wrote him on Fiverr. I was like, yo, draw me a donkey on a grill with Grill Your Ass Off around it. And he gave me this horrible pencil sketch of, I mean, it's very, very bad, but I was just like, there's something here. And then I took that, we went to a better artist, got it redrawn, and then it's gone through 4 different cycles now to where we have it now. And we have our current artist that's doing everything. And Yeah, he's revamped a lot of the stuff, especially since last time we talked, to make it look way better. So now all of our products have different donkey characters. We hide certain donkeys on certain bag products that say funny sayings. We try to hide little Easter eggs, and a lot of the labels. We don't have it on everything, just because that kind of stuff takes a very, very long time to plan out and do without getting us in trouble. But yeah, we get to have a lot of fun. We hid some stuff in whenever we launched our battleship brine. Was one. We've never done anything for the Navy before, so it's like, all right, we need to hide in some stuff for the seamen out there. So anyone who has a brine bag, you'll see it once you look hard enough for it. But we're trying to do that more and more. It's just, everything's so serious with politics, with life, with all of that. And, Grill Your Ass Off got started because humor got us through our dark times of service. So I always want to, as serious as we are as having a quality and a great product, we want the humor to come through and for everyone to just, laugh, smile, have fun. Life's hard enough.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, right? Because not only are you, Army Infantryman, and a lot of it's very Army focused, but in the spirit of inter-service rivalry and the fun rivalry we have, you're now reaching out and making other products in dedication to other branches, but you're also making fun of them, because that's what we do. We rag on it, whether so I expect to see something else with it, marine eating crayons, right? Or
so we actually, this was a product that never released, and maybe whenever I have time to visit enough on it, but we actually made a dessert seasoning that looked like crayons at one point.
There we go. And I'm sure it was going to have a marine reference of some.
We recreated a pack of crayons for the logo. Like we went full board. We just didn't have the right partners to work with on ingredients for it. So it was a great idea, but I just didn't have the execution to be able to pull it off. So maybe one day down the road, we'll get back into it. But yeah, no, that was definitely something we attempted. It was a failure. And yeah, we definitely need to get back, because I remind Dylan every morning whenever we get to the warehouse that the Navy paid his paycheck.
That's it. So you've got salsa, you got the jerky, you got the mixes, and you're also getting other things like chili. So tell us a little bit about the Texas chili, and how did that come about to create that? Is that a mix? That's just a seasoning also, and you tell them what ingredients to have and that kind of thing, or how does that work?
Yeah, so again, we try to make it stupid easy. So whenever you flip that bag over, on the backside, it's got a simple chili recipe. And if you want to make it more complicated than just a simple chili recipe, we have recipes on our website that you can do an over-the-top smoked chili, which if you haven't done and you have a smoker, you're drastically missing out on. But it was one of the things to where and a lot of it's, we listen to our customers, and I continuously just got pounded by my customers, like, why don't you have a brine? Why don't you have a brine? And then finally it's like, all right, let's pull the trigger on the brine. And then our customers ran away with it. So it's like, we wanted to do a chili. So we decided, hey, let's go back to the drawing board. What truly makes the Texas chili? So we looked at all the different ingredients, and then it's like, okay, now what's our actual selling proposition to be able to call it a Texas chili? So we stuck true to, Texas style chili roots, to where, we don't put beans in our chili. Not that there's anything wrong with that, other than you're wrong if you do. But also it's like, let's make a chili pack that's actually worthwhile. So if you actually follow the direct recipe on the back of that bag, it'll make 55 bowls of chili in that one bag.
Wow. Okay. So it's a deal, because I think I saw it's what, $10-11 or roughly.
Yes, for that. $10.99.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
So
yeah, the prices aren't bad. I mean, you've got a ton. I mean, you got jerky bundles that when you look at what people pay for, who knows how a lot of it. I don't buy a lot of jerky, I'll be honest, because I make it all. But I look at what it costs for a 2-ounce package or 4-ounce package is crazy. What that costs, and I mean, you could get a bundle of 6 different packages for, what some people pay for a big pack, if you would.
And the biggest thing is, we keep that in mind, and we're not a Jack Link, so we're going to be a little bit more expensive than them. But at the same time, we're also not forming a bunch of molded, ground up stuff and waterlogging it into certain shapes and trying to make it taste like something. All of our stuff comes from a high quality cut top round. And then we will actually marinate it in a vacuum tumbler and then cure it inside of an oven. So it's quality product, and you can actually see it whenever you see the muscle fibers running through the pieces of jerky.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now you have some distribution. I see you're selling in stores and mostly looks like in the Austin area, Austin Metroplex. Are you working to try to get it, distributed out to other, brick and mortar stores or grocery stores or chains, or is most of your business pretty much is it smarter just to keep it online and that kind
No,
of
so we actually do. We still do a majority of our business online, but that's also just due to our amazing customer base on that. But we're slowly growing nationwide with Ace Hardware right now. So the majority of your southern Ace Hardwares in your southern states are going to stock our products. If they don't, it's as simple as asking your manager inside of that store to get it for you, or just jumping on Ace Hardware's website and ordering it, and they'll actually deliver it to your store for free. Fun fact on that. As well as we're a huge partner with Hallmark, the greeting card company. Always have to say that part because most people have that same facial reaction of like, oh, wow. Yeah. So, it's always funny to me because you can walk in, buy grandma a birthday card and a jar of donkey balls at the same time. Like,
I mean, what grandma doesn't want that? I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Right. So we have that, but also, we're just over 1,000 independent mom and pop retail shops across all 50 states that now carry the product. So we're getting closer to having 2,100 stores across the U.S. That carry the product. Most of them are available on our retail locator on the website, but we're currently running at I think a 7-month backlog on getting the new locations added and doing our retailer shout out. So if y'all follow us on Facebook or Instagram, every Tuesday and Thursday, we shout out a new store that carries the product on there and then get them added to our store locator.
Wow. Yeah. So when I went and checked out the map, right, it was just kind of zeroed in on Austin. And I started backing out. I should have looked at that first. You guys are just red dots all over the country. I mean, it's including, I'm in the Western New York, Buffalo area. There's 3 locations right here. I mean, it's, you guys have quite a reach. Now you just got to hit the Cabela's. That's what you got to land that Cabela's deal. And then, you would be hitting every place that people want that kind of stuff at.
Yeah. And this is where, the backside of business that a lot of people don't see is a lot of people think, hey, you hit Cabela's Bass Pro Shop, like you're going to be making so much money and doing so well. In the grand scheme of things, they have about 40 locations. So then you start thinking about doing numbers and the amount of money that you make actually selling B2B, especially to a distributor who has multi-chain locations, has a name like Cabela's Bass Pro Shop, who's going to dwindle you down to every single penny that they can get out of you, to where now you're making, pennies on the dollar selling your product to them to have them then resell it, versus to where you go to say an Ace Hardware who's rolling on 6,000 locations. Then the numbers drastically change. And trust me, I've been beating down the damn door on Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop for a while now. And the biggest thing is just get the right time, right opportunity to get your foot inside the door with these buyers.
Yeah. So Doug in the chat, he brought up AFES. What about the AFES locations?
So we are currently, and I wouldn't even, that's my bad. I had the live chat on, or the private chat on, not the actual chat. So Doug, I can see you now. So we are, ironically enough, we are on AFES on their website. We are in early stages of talk of potentially getting inside a store, but traditionally a lot of people see our stuff inside of Ace Hardware now. The conversations with Ace actually started in 2022.
Wow. Okay.
and we're just now getting some
Yeah.
decent rollout to let people in, especially, you know, with our line having ass in the name, no pun intended. It can be a pain in the ass at times. So there's that. We are. I see Costco. I just sent an email today to some people at Costco. So as I always say, like nothing's done until there's money in the bank account. So I'm not holding my breath anytime soon, but hoping.
I mean, how is it? Would you? I mean, obviously, the bigger distribution you have, things like that. I mean, you have to ramp up manufacturing to a point. I imagine there's some point there's you've got to measure or temper to say we can only go so big so fast, right? You got to be able to still put the product out. You know?
Well, and that's where it comes to, you know, making sure you have the right partners in play, and making sure you're going to be able to hit that capacity of not only just providing the product, but the funds that come with it too. That's what most people say, you know, like whenever a lot of our friends saw us jump on with Fox News, they're like, oh my God, that's the greatest thing in the world. And it was.
Yeah.
Like it was amazing. But at the same time, most people didn't know that, you know, the second I'm off that Fox News set in New York, I'm on a plane going back to Texas, and I'm pulling my hair out on that plane, trying to figure out how logistically we were going to pull off the fulfillment of, you know, the thousands of orders that just came in, and how I'm going to foot that bill to buy the product, and how much product do we buy based on what the customers bought, how much of a taper are we going to go off of, how much of a high of Fox News are we going to ride on. It's a lot of that. We Trader Joe's will be a hard one. I feel like they're a little bit more leaning away towards our brand values. HEB is another one. So a lot of, and this is just, I guess, while we're on this subject, for a lot of these retail store chains, unless if you're like mad TikTok viral, like the #1 in your category, it's very hard to get picked up on for them to reach out to you. So for HEB, to give you guys an idea, I've been reaching out to them for the past 3 years. We currently have product on the review for the 2025 review, which I believe is either happening in August or September. So we're finally on the review slot. We have brokers that have been beating them down. I've been beating them down. I see them at trade shows, and we've been beating them down. We've given them numerous products. All the head buyers of all the meat departments for HEB like swear by our product. If that gives you any kind of idea on how hard this stuff is. There's a giant gas station brand with a animal mascot that I'm sure a lot of people know of.
Giant was pretty key. Yeah.
Like super clean bathrooms, lot of gas station pumps. It's now outside of a Texas brand only that, you know, I grew up going to, because, you know, I'm a Texan through and through. Thank you, Doug, on the name, because I'm not going to drop it. But after the years of me talking to their buyers, all this and that kind of stuff, one day I got a phone call, and it was one of their buyers, the spice buyer to be specific. And I'm like, it's happening. Like we're going to make it go. They were calling me to see if I could rip off somebody else's salsa and sell it to them for cheaper.
That's all they wanted.
Yep. They said, oh, no, we would never carry your brand because of the word ass. So, but we want to see if you can rip off this other vendor's product and sell it to us for cheaper. So that's how you get with a lot of these larger corporations, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. So we got coming in, we are, like I started at, you know, almost an hour ago, right? We're at the end of May, which means we are about a month away from, you know, the biggest grilling day there is, 4th of July. What do you guys have anything planned? Do you have any big deals or sales coming up, specials? What do you got going on? How do you prepare for something like that?
You know, truly Memorial Day is kind of like the telltale on, I agree with you on that comment, Doug.
Doug is, he's
I'm not going to go too terribly far into it, but yeah, I agree with you all the way there. Some people can't handle wordplay too much. But no, we Memorial Day is typically the telltale on how the summer is going to roll out. You know, we've we haven't done a Memorial Day sale here at Grill Your Ass Off, because I truly believe that, we need to focus on what Memorial Day is, and it's not a sale. It's turned into that, which is unfortunate. But you know what? At the same time, the people who did, give their life for our freedom, gave their life for us to have freedom. So if you want to have a sale, you run that shit. But our brand's mission guidelines says different to that. So one of the things that we will be doing is a 15% off site-wide sale for 4th of July for everyone, getting it going. We do have a Father's Day sale going on right now as well. The code is Dad's Grill. It's also right on the homepage of the website. And then we did revamp the box of ass. So now you get a cool ammo crate style box that it comes in. So for anyone who's looking to pick up the, our 8 best-selling seasonings, you can pop that in right there. We also have a really cool bundle builder on our website too that we just introduced for this summer, to where if you don't want the box of ass and you want to make your own bundle, you go full send and make exactly what you want on there. And you can be able to do that there. But no, Memorial Day really kind of tell us the tale. But most of our stuff now we're producing in such a volume to where we're looking, 6 months ahead to be able to plan for financial budgets, raw goods, and making sure that we have everything in stock to where whenever shit does hit the fan, we're prepared for it. We have the labels, we have the bottles, we have silly things like induction seal liners and things like that, or even date code printer ink that you wouldn't think would be that big of a deal. But whenever you have those huge moments of sales, and next thing you know, your 3-week turnaround time to be able to get proper ink for your date code printer, it's like, oh man, this is going to be painful.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you kind of started out, you were going to be a pilot. I mean, college wasn't looking like it, but you have definitely turned into quite the businessman and entrepreneur. How is, did you take additional courses? Have you just learned it through a trial by fire? Have good mentors along the way? I mean, because you're running a very successful business.
No, it's, there's a couple different factors. So ever since I was 1 year old, my parents had bought a hardware store that the guy who they bought it from said a hardware store will never be successful here. And now it's one of the most successful Ace Hardwares in the state of Texas. I stepped away from that business whenever I was 16, started my own business, and then went and worked at a machine shop doing 3D CAD engineering that I learned how to do in high school. Saved up a bunch of money doing that, went and worked at a diesel shop for a while, opened up my own diesel shop at 17. So I had a couple different fireworks stands across Houston that I'd hustle fireworks, 10 days on the 4th of July, 10 days during New Year's, and stepped away from the family business. And honestly, a lot of that was the fact that everyone just assumed growing up, like, oh, you're just going to take over your family's business and be handed everything. So I was just like, I'm too stupid to accept that. And I'm going to go out and do my own thing. Like that was their passion. That was their dream. I'm going to go live out mine. So it started off with my childhood best friend ended up getting on house arrest. And I bought a firework business so I could sign his PO papers and get him off of house arrest, because we found out if I own a business and I'm 17, I could sign his PO papers. So that's how it really kicked off. And it was like, we can make money while we do this too. So let's go sell some fireworks. Let's see what snakes and sparklers are all about.
You've kind of always been entrepreneurish. I mean, this is not, you've never had fear to try something new or try to get something.
And that was the thing, I saw that with my parents, neither one of them were home a ton. They were consistently working the store, and whenever they were home, they were still working. So I always had that work ethic. And then once I kind of had the cards dealt to me that I wasn't going to go full-time professional with motocross racing, I was like, all right, let's start getting in business and so I can fund hobbies. And with the 2008 financial kind of collapse, a lot of my money that I was making was selling like high-end diesel performance parts. And a lot of these guys worked out in the oil field and in the housing markets. And whenever both those collapsed, I went back to, all right, now I got to change oil, change suspension, do the stuff that I don't find fun and why I didn't start doing that. And that's whenever I stopped and I was like, you know what? Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be in the military. So let me go join the military. So as soon as I got out the military and realized, college sucks. That's why I started Grill Your Ass Off and started going right back into this business. And then one of the fun things that not a lot of people get to know about me is I, before leaving for the military, was actually denied community college because they said I wasn't smart enough. In 2019, right before I came on your show, I went and gave a entrepreneurial speech at that college.
Did you tell him that? That
was my opening line.
Oh, really? I'm sure that got a few chuckles and probably a few not chuckles from the people sitting behind you.
The administrative staff gave me a very, very deep and long stare. I just smiled right back and continued with my speech. But it was cool because that was in 2009, and then in 2019, I went and spoke at that college. So that's.
I'm assuming they've never asked you to come back.
No.
Get one shot. Did they give you that when they give you an honorary degree and all that kind of stuff is like a thank you? Is it how that works or?
No, it was pretty much a
college. I don't know how that works.
It was a pat on the back, and we'll let you know if we want you to come back.
Yeah. There we go.
So, but yeah, I've never gotten a phone call to come back to that one, so I'm fine with that.
There we go. Wow, that's a good one. No, so look, you've got a lot of product. I hope people check out grillyourassoff.com. You got gear, you got tumblers, t-shirts, hats, salsa, jerky, everything. I mean, it is definitely, when we started this tonight. I was talking about, let's talk about how far you've grown since 5 years ago, and when it comes to product, you went from 4, and I remember those original 4, to, now you've got to search for a while to find them.
That's one of them right there. That was from the original batch. And ironically enough, I found that in my grandma's spice cabinet about 4 years ago, unopened.
It's out. Oh, that's sweet, honey. Yeah, and just puts it up. It's
yeah. So I was like, you know what? She won't even notice that this is gone. I'm going to take it. She still hasn't. So I'm waiting on the day that she calls me. And yeah, no, it's been a phenomenal ride. And I'm greatly appreciative of people like you, the show, other amazing veterans, and just Americans in general that support us. The more and more that we get support, the more veterans we get to hire. One of the super cool things, one of the veterans that I actually met while I was going to flight school, both of his sons now work here at the warehouse. We have military spouses, we have first responders that work here. So we've been able to build an amazing team and a community, and we're only, we're just getting started. It's been 8.5 years, but we're just getting started on it.
And where are you located at? Where's your warehouse at?
Salado, Texas. It's about an hour north of Austin.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Austin quite a bit because of work, and I was just through there in Salado on my way up the Temple, but going up that way. And I'm in with Doug with Georgetown a lot. I'm always over there. Toby lives there and stuff like that, so I try to get over there. But no, man, that is phenomenal. I've got to definitely get my order in. Grilling season is here. And if not, I know I've found 3 locations right here in Western New York that I can check out. But I know the next thing we need to do to help you out, we need to reach out to our boy Petey Hegseth, who, a big friend of the show, has been on many times. You know him well. And I think he probably needs to reach out to whoever handles all of his dining facility contracts. I think they need to Grow Your Ass Off and all the DFACs and DOD. Why not support a veteran-owned business and that would be good. That'd be a nice global presence to have, some seasonings back there. Maybe those Army cooks can start doing something besides just boiling burgers and T-rats and actually cooking something.
Yeah, something other than Salisbury steak every night in the chow hall.
Exactly. Yeah. It's I'm convinced after my last tour in Afghanistan that I used to joke that, Army cook school must have been shrunken down to one day. They just teach them how to boil shit, and then they cut open the can and that's it, because I don't see them doing much else than that.
Oh,
Um, I
no.
think, you know,
Yeah, and then that's 100% true, because whenever I first came in, we had civilians that ran the chow hall, and it was actually good food. And then next thing I know, their budget cuts hit with Obama, and it just went to shit as soon as the Army cooks came in.
yeah, people can complain about Halliburton and Fluor and all that kind of stuff, but those are the companies that ran mess halls downrange, and they're not always the ones that run them stateside, but they run them downrange, and they fed troops well. But yeah, maybe one day we'll see some grill your ass off stuff inside of dining facilities in addition to AFI. So,
Well, especially now with the current administration, it won't be. I mean, it won't be too offensive for them, hopefully. So
nope, there you
we'll
go.
see on
Now we got it. So another idea. I'm just giving you ideas unsolicited, because that's what retired first sergeants do. Now I need to come up, when you think about names, or like, it'd be cool to come up with some things honoring like the military medal, like Silver Star sauce, or something to do with whatever, Arcom this, or Medal of Honor that, or certificate of achievement this, right? You could do all kind of stuff, right? You could just make a play and have fun at some of that stuff.
We've looked at doing some of that, and some of the issue honestly outside of maybe like the Medal of Honor is you start to lose the civilian side on the understanding. And we've experienced that huge. And with the size that we've grown, we also want to keep in mind that a lot of our consumers are civilians and might not know the tie-in with everything, which is why we have QR codes on our products. We have the informational videos on all the product pages to be able to educate the people. We send them emails, text messages about all of it. So we have dabbled in that, but if and when we do products like that, we want it to be able to go back to make a difference, because I'm not one to sell a product like, say, if we did a Medal of Honor rub or something like that. I'm not going to keep all the money from that. I mean, that's right. You're literally selling the highest, award that you can receive in the military.
But one thing, so there's this bourbon out that I recently learned about. I actually had to buy it in Texas. That's one of the few places I can find it, called Got Your Six, and have an NFC chip in the label. And you scan that, you put your phone near that, and it takes you to a website. And all they do is honor first responders, heroes, civilians, people that rescued babies out of rivers, military. And you scan that, and then it takes you to a story, and they honor someone's story. And the same thing, they give a portion back and stuff. My creative mind's just going here. I'm thinking, if you could have something like that, I don't know what it would take and the cost of logistics. But, maybe it's not an NFC chip, maybe there's a QR code. So they scan that, and they get a little website telling them all what the Bronze Star is about, or the Silver Star, Legion of Merit, and maybe even highlight someone that's received it for some, or whatever, right? Valor Awards, maybe you highlight different people. But, that may be a way to say, scan this to learn more about what the Silver Star is really for, or what the, Distinguished Service Cross is, what it represents. Maybe a way to cross over and educate some folks. And like say, there's no shortage of military charities that you could align to give something back or portion to, which you've done already to things. But yeah, just a thought. I thought of theirs because it was that they honor this, but they only have so much label space on the bottle, and they just say scan this, and then learn a lot about somebody that's done a phenomenal thing, that kind of stuff. So
no, I like that idea. I honestly haven't seen theirs. I was thinking about two other whiskey lines that I'm sure we both know of that have done that route before. But no, I like that side. And then you run into the other problem is label space. Yes. It's hard enough to fill up a label with what you want to say and not run out of room on that aspect. So definitely on that. I love that idea. And that's something that we also did too. And we're slowly getting more and more back into it, because a lot of it just comes down to like time, manpower. But we actually did, and it's on our YouTube channel. If you just search Young Joe, we actually did a whole entire letter of someone who is now a veteran writing a letter to someone who just joined the military. And we did this for Veterans Day a few years ago. And especially if you were a veteran and you listen to the words and the impact for that, it hits home super, super hard. And one of my favorite things that we did is we turned around to all of our customers and said, we're creating this video, submit the photos of you in service with your battle buddies, and we're going to put it inside this video. So that was one of the cool things we've done with something similar to that. But yeah, no, I love that idea of being able to actually have it like an NFC or a QR code on there that actually links them back to tell the story of someone.
Yeah, that's something. Just a thought to tie it in if you go that route. But hey, enough ideas for me. I know how to get a hold of you if I come up with more. You probably get no shortage. But Jason, anything else tonight that we haven't talked about that you want our listeners or viewers to know? I know we hit a lot of your products and stuff, and a little bit about you and what the company's all about. But I want to make sure you got a chance to cover anything else that's near and dear to your heart, or any initiatives that are going on you want to let people know about.
No, I mean, and thank you. The response time on these the images and the links and everything like that is just insane.
He's the best unpaid producer ever. He is.
Yeah, no,
out of him.
I'm impressed. There's certain links that I want to say to see if he'll actually publish it before he realizes what it is. No, honestly, check out grillyourassoff.com or don't. Just thank you to everyone who listens to this podcast. Thank you for having me on. It's always amazing time to be able to connect with other veterans like yourself, share stories, just communicate back and forth. The next time that you are in Texas, y'all need to get the hell up here to the warehouse, check everything out. I'll make sure to have the grill fired up. We'll have some kick-ass food and some kick-ass whiskey or bourbon with that. So no, just thank you. If you want to grill your ass off, check it out on the website. We got a product for literally anyone out there. And if we don't, send it to us, and there's a good chance we'll make it one day.
And there's a military first responder discount, a great one, I must say, and on there, so they can take advantage of that. But next time I'm down, I don't know if I'm coming down this summer. I tend to try to stay away from Austin after a couple tours at Fort Hood, and down there a lot away from that place in the summertime. But I know I'll be back in the fall, and brother, don't worry, I will be reaching out to you and getting my way up there. And I'd love to see the warehouse and meet you in person, give you a hug on the neck, and hang out for a little bit. That'd be great.
Yeah, y'all, anyone's more than welcome anytime.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for giving us your night, and everyone, thanks for staying. I know we started a little bit late, and Jason, thank you for coming on late. Great episode, and you take care, my friend. Reach out anytime you got something new. We don't have to do a full episode. You want to do a quick little one, we can do that. Throw it up on the socials to announce something. I mean, we're here for you.
No, I greatly appreciate it, and I hope you all have a great night. Thank you again.
Everybody have a good night. Thank you so much.